I ain't no expert on fitness, but I know one thing for damn sure. It ain't for the weak of heart. You want to get into shape, you gotta be ready to suffer. What I see these days, with all these wannabe fitness junkies running around, it's like they're looking for a shortcut to the good life. A quick fix. They think they can just pop a couple of pills and drink some fancy juice and boom, they're ripped. It don't work like that. I remember when I first started to lift. I was a skinny little rat, and I wanted to be big and strong like Rambo. So, I went to the gym and I started pumping iron. It was tough. I was sore as hell all the time, and I didn't see a goddamn result for months. But I kept at it, every fucking day, week after week, month on month. Now look at me, I'm a fucking Adonis. And let me tell you kid, there's always a price to pay for shortcuts. I found that out the hard way. I was at the gym, just like any other day, when I noticed a new guy. He was big, real fucking big, and he was taking a whole bunch of pills and drinking some kind of juice. I didn't pay him too much mind, but something about him was off. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but I knew in my fucking bones he was a bastard. So, I walked over to the guy and offered him some assistance. You look like you could use a spotter, I said, trying to be friendly and do some digging at the same time. He looked at me, his eyes bulging a little. I don't need your fucking help, he growled. Get the fuck out of here. A bastard, just like I thought. I shrugged it off and walked away. It wasn't until later that night that I found out just how much of a bastard he was. I was walking home from the gym. It was late and the streets were dead quiet with no one around. But as I turned a corner, I saw him at the end of the street. His fucking eyes were popping out of his skull. His muscles had swollen to an unnatural size, leaving ugly stretch marks on his skin, and all of his veins stood proud, like thick ropes ready to snap. He was out of his fucking mind, strung out on his pills and his juice, and he just kept going faster and faster until he caught right up with me. That's when I knew it was going down, and it wasn't gonna be me going. Without warning, he lunged directly at me, swinging his huge arms through the air. I dodged, narrowly avoiding a clobbering. I swung back, but he was nimble too, and countered with a punch of his own, connecting with my jaw and sending me flying, with little stars going round my head. I hit the ground with a thud, bolts of pain shooting through my body. But I couldn't stay down. I had to get up and keep fighting. I pulled myself up to feet and dusted myself off. The bastard was coming at me again, and this time, I was fucking ready. He swung and I juked him, swinging back, hitting him in his ugly bulbous face. But the bastard refused to fall. Instead, he did something that I never expected. He unhinged his fucking jaw, like a fucking python, and let out a horrifying roar that shook the very earth underneath our feet. I was truly terrified at his transformation. I had to end this, and fast. Lunging forward, I clenched my fists, ready to land the final blow on his head. But he was so quick, he jerked himself out the way, dodging my attack, then he lunged at me again, this time his fucking mouth gaping. The bastard was gonna swallow me whole. I had to think fast. I looked around for something, anything, that could help me. My eyes landed on a nearby metal pipe, and I knew that was my chance. I grabbed it and swung it with all my strength, connecting with his jaw. There was a sickening crunch, and he let out a guttural cry. He staggered back, but he didn't fall. The bastard's jaw was splintered and hanging broken. I knew that I had hurt him. But I also knew that it wasn't enough. I swung the pipe again and again, only now I was aiming at his head. Over and over I connected with his cranium. I felt his fucking skull crack inward. I kept going until I felt his body going limp. and even after that I just kept going and going. Finally, after maybe 5 minutes, I knelt there over his newly excavated skull, panting and sweating. My body ached from the fight and my hands were covered in blood and brains. I had won. I had defeated the bastard and survived. So a warning to all the wannabe fitness junkies out there. Don't be fooled by the promise of a shortcut to the good life. 'Cause sometimes, the price you pay is your fucking life.